Greetings and salutations, folks. It is I, Team Forbidden's one and only not-so-senior citizen, back again after the longest time with a deck profile. And today we're going to be showcasing the Witchcrafters since the new card for Witchcrafters has just come out. So, I hate it so much. So, without further ado, let's get started. So we're going to start off by introducing the monsters first, and then I'll get into their effects later. So I run 2 Witchcrafter Potteries, 3 Witchcrafter Shemetas, 3 Witchcrafter Pitor, and I'm going to go over these basic effects first. So these 3 have the basic effect where they where during the main phase you can tribute this card and discard 1 spell card to special summon a Witchcrafter from the deck regardless of level, and each of them has their own special effects when they're banished in the grave. So this one, when you banish this from the grave, you add any Witchcrafter card from the graveyard to the hand, regardless of spell or monster. This Shmita, you banish this from the card to pitch 1 Witchcrafter card from the deck to the graveyard. Or sorry, yeah, 1 Witchcrafter card from the deck or graveyard, regardless of monster or spell or trap. And then this card, you banish Pottery from the graveyard to draw a card, but you do have to discard a Witchcrafter monster. Otherwise, you have to banish your whole hand. I only won 1 Edel. Edel, her effect, you can discard 1 spell card. You can special summon a Witchcrafter monster from the hand, except herself, and then and then you can tribute this card, target 1 spellcaster monster from in your graveyard, except Edel, and then special summon it. And you can only use each of those effects once per turn. I run 2 Witchcrafter Hane. Witchcrafter Hane, her effect, your opponent cannot target other spellcaster monsters you control with card effects. That is a quick effect, and you can discard 1 spell card, then target 1 face-up card your opponent controls and destroy it. You can only use that effect of Witchcrafter Hane once per turn. And then one of the boss monster, Witchcrafter Madame Vare. Her effect, it's a bit of a long one, so I do apologize. During the damage stat calculation, if your spellcaster monster battles an opponent's monster, quick effect, you can reveal any number of spells with different names in your hand, and if you do, your battling monster gains 1,000 attack or defense for each card in your hand, and until the end of the turn. And then her other quick effect, you discard 1 spell, negate the effects of all face-up monsters currently on the field until the end of the turn. You can only use each effect of Madame Vare once per turn. Alright. And then finally, the new card that came out from Rising Rampage, Witchcrafter Golem Arl. I don't like the translation Golem Aruru. It's just weird to me, but I'll roll with it. Her effect, when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a spellcaster monster or monsters you control, or targets it for an attack, quick effect, you can target 1 card your opponent controls, or 1 spellcaster spell, or 1 Witchcrafter spell in your graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, return that targeted card to the hand. You can only use this effect of Witchcrafter Golem Aruru once per turn. Once returned during your opponent's standby phase, return this card to the hand. So, the one thing you need to note about this card is it does not negate the does not negate the effect that targets the Witchcrafter monsters. Well, what it does, it's still pretty good in the sense that you can still bounce back monsters or spells or face-up spells, and then in exchange you still have a 2800 meter on the field, and then on your opponent's standby phase you get this back in your hand to reuse once again. All right. And it doesn't really matter that it doesn't negate, because again, you're about 90% of the time you're gonna have these 2 on the field, and then the only monster that can be targeted for effects would be this card. So you still have the one spell negation with Witchcrafter Madame Vare and some other variables on the field that I'll get into later on. Alright, so that's, well, let me double check. Yeah, that's it for the monster lineup. Next we're going to go into the spell lineup. For the spells, you absolutely have to run 3 Witchcrafter Creation. This card is the searcher of the deck. You add 1 Witchcrafter monster from the deck to the hand during the end phase. You can control a Witchcrafter monster. While this card is in the graveyard, you can add this card to your hand. You can only use 1 Witchcrafter Creation per turn. So, and the thing with most of these Witchcrafter cards is that they all have the effect where they recur from the graveyard, where they come back from the graveyard to either your hand or the field if you have a Witchcrafter monster on the field. Witchcrafter Holiday, this is your Monster Reborn. Witchcrafter Collaboration, this is the card that, if I remember right, well, I'll read the effect anyway. Target 1 Witchcrafter monster you control, and it can make a second attack during each battle phase this turn. Also, if it attacks this turn, your opponent cannot activate spells or traps until the end of the damage step. During your end phase, you can control a Witchcrafter monster. While this card is in your graveyard, you can recur it back from the graveyard. Alright? Witchcrafter Draping. This is the card that, if I remember right, target spells, trap cards your opponent controls up to the number of Witchcrafter monsters you control. Return those target cards to the hand, and then during the end phase, return this to your hand from the graveyard if you control a Witchcrafter monster. Now that's it for the normal spells and the quick spells. Now the permanent spells, I run 2 Witchcrafter By Streets and 1 Witchcrafter Scroll. Scroll gives you a draw whenever a Witchcrafter monster destroys a monster by battle. Witchcrafter By Street is the one that protects your Witchcrafter monsters once if they were going to be destroyed by battle or card effect per turn. And then in comparison to these cards, these don't return to your hand, but they return to the field. Alright, continuing on with spells, I am personally running the Secret Village variant with 3 Secret Villages, 2 Secret Sanctuaries as a spellcaster. This card, when a monster except spellcaster type monster is normal summon or special summon to your opponent's side of the field while you control another face-up spell and your opponent does not control any face-up spells, that monster cannot attack or activate effects this turn. This applies even if the card leaves the field. If you do not control any spellcaster monsters, destroy that card. So I do that in tandem with with Madame Bear's effect negation if I happen to activate her effect at the wrong time. And then we can only run, unfortunately, 1 Terraforming, 2 Foolish Burial Goods to help get the Witchcrafter spells to the graveyard, or Metal Flows Fusion into the graveyard for that extra draw power. You absolutely need to play 3 Called Graves because hand traps, because Ash does kill this deck, and then one reasoning to again get all these spells into the graveyard, and then 3 summon lands. So that is it for the deck. I do not run an extra deck because most of the time I have only 2 monsters on the field, and it's already hard to link summon or XC summon when I can only get about 2 monsters at a time, especially when I have this on the field. So, but if you disagree, or if you have any suggestions as to how I can improve this deck, I would greatly welcome those opinions. As always, we always ask that you like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Take care.